Hi, it's Charlie Zeiss with Stargate Pyramids and the Pyramid Science Foundation. Today's video is entitled, Was There a Russian Pyramid on the Maidan? And I've been meaning to do this video for a number of years since I first found some information about the use of a Russian pyramid on the Maidan in 2014. Uh, the information initially was it's so unsettling that I didn't want to bring it to anyone's attention until I actually had some visible proof that perhaps this pyramid actually did exist on the Maidan. And I have recently found that. And so I think it's time, especially given our current situation, to at least bring this up and show people some pictures of this pyramid, but more importantly, to relay to you the information that's been on the pyramids.ru website from Dr. Golod for quite some time. So that's what we're doing. And let's get started. Uh, I'm going to share the screen now and show you these pictures. Now, this is the screenshot that I wanted to, that you saw at the beginning of the video. On the left, you see this object that has a lot of flags and banners on it. Um, and on the right, I've done a close-up of it, and sure enough, it has the geometry of the Russian pyramid to within a thousandth of a degree, best I can measure it. So uh, this obviously is what Dr. Golod was referring to and has been for some time on his website as being the pyramid that was on the Maidan during 2014. So with that said, I wanted to first, tell you where I found this and how I found it. I we had Lisa and I had an interview with Nick Alviar, a number of months ago on his GoodLion.tv channel. I subscribed to that after the interview and have just loved it. It's got great independent journalism, and I found these pictures in a video series that he recently put out on GoodLion.tv called Putin versus the Deep State. Now, this one these pictures came from part 3. I think you can also find them in part 1, but I had this one available. So if you're interested, you can certainly go and look at this part 3 of Putin versus the Deep State on GoodLion.tv, and you'll see this. So, that's the source of my information. Now, the other information that I've known about for a number of years is from pyramids.ru. And I've mentioned this on occasion in prior videos, but I've never, gone through the entire um, uh, interview portion with Dr. Golub that describes the use of this pyramid in 2014. So I wanted to do that now. And for those of you who would like, again, to see this yourself, go to pyramids.ru. There is a Q&A section with Dr. Golod. You'll want to use Google Chrome or equivalent because the website is in Russian, so you'll need to use Google Translate or equivalent in order to translate it into English. And that translation, as you'll see, is not perfect by any means here, but it gives us the gist of what's been going on. So, I'll read this out to you. The interviewer asked, what connection could there be between the pyramid and the events in Ukraine? And there's no prior context to that question in this interview session. So kind of the first time I read it, it really took me by surprise. But Golod's answer was, almost all the time of the events on the Maidan, there was a pyramid, I think from February to June. But in order to move on to the pyramid onto the Maidan, you must first understand why it was needed there. And what is a pyramid anyway? First of all, the pyramid is a tool. And just like any tool, you must be able to use it. Using it, you can do both good and bad. And Lisa and I have talked about that for quite some time. So, what he's saying is this pyramid is an amplifier and clarifier of energy fields. And, what you put into it is going to be amplified and clarified. And that's going to, in this case, as Dr. Golod's going to discuss, this was used to influence the people on the Maidan, according to his, that's his quote. So, second question: what could be the mechanism of influence of the pyramid on the Maidan? And the answer was, I conducted a survey of about 200 people. He asked, and I think that should be translated, I asked, how many times have you seen the pyramid on the Maidan? They answered that they never saw the stories about the events on the Maidan again, poisonous yellow, in the very center of the Maidan. It was shown in every second news releases dozens of times a day. They answered and were surprised themselves after viewing on the internet. I know that that's not being translated particularly well, so we're just going to move on here and get the gist of what this says. But Dr. Golod continues, now how does it work? A person watches TV or sees the pyramid right on the Maidan. The pyramid allows the operator to broadcast the necessary information at the subconscious level. So when the eyes caught the pyramid, everything had already happened. The picture disappeared, the pyramid was forgotten, only the connected information remained. There are no miracles, no magic, just pure physics. We have heard the phrase thought is material many times. The bottom line is that between any people, there are connections quite material. For example, if a person puts entire halls, I think he means like an auditorium full of people, into hypnosis, then why should he influence another person? It is very difficult to do this with one single person. But if there is a community of people connected by a common territory, common idea, common values, then the task is greatly simplified. And the greater this community, the easier it is to work. And judging by the events in Ukraine, our quote unquote sworn partners are engaged in such experiments. Now, why is that in quotes? As you know, or you may not know, a lot of the research on the Russian pyramids were done by scientists in the Ukraine who studied and worked at a laboratory in Ukraine, in Kiev. So that's what he's referring to, and their sworn partners are the very people I think that Dr. Golod had worked with when Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union. So to continue on, and even with Europe, everything works great. There is a mechanism, and if someone managed to turn it on, then you need to find a way to turn it off. And for this, you need to study it. The pyramid as a tool, or is a tool, perhaps, that's the reading, and can be such a switch, especially in electoral issues, which are now on everyone's lips. At the same time, all external influences on the electorate are removed and the applicant appears as he really is. Now, as I say, this translation leaves a lot to be desired, but I think it's fascinating to see that, the gist of what Dr. Golod's trying to tell us is that there was a pyramid. To his knowledge, some of his former co-workers were actually working on this project, and that the pyramid was programmed to, I guess, to incite riots or to change political views in the election. So there were, some rather nefarious things, I guess, that were going on with the pyramid in 2014. So, with that said, I just wanted to let everybody know that pyramids, as he said, with any tool can be used for good or for evil. So, as you use your pyramids, remember that when you sit in the pyramid, think only positive thoughts, think loving and kind thoughts, and put out intentions into the pyramid, which will be amplified and magnified, but put out those intentions that are good for all mankind. So with that said, I thank you for watching, and you have a great day.